Okay. Alright. This is about to be one of the craziest stories I will ever give you guys on this channel. There's a mix of emotion. There's a mix of... I don't know how to say it. There's a mix of happiness. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in this story. And if you haven't read the title, it's about my most recent relationship. I wouldn't say it's really considered a relationship. I'd say we were really just in the talking stage, but I'm just gonna say this is about to get crazy. Okay, so this starts with one text. So it was like about a week ago from when I recorded this, and if you can't tell, I'm recording this right after Real Madrid just beat Manchester City in the Champions League round of 16. So, yeah. So this happened about a week and a half ago. It happened about, I think it happened on Sunday, March 8th. Now. So, I am going to show some texts. I'm not going to show all of them because sometimes it gets a little crazy. I'm just going to say that. But let's just get right into it. So, the first thing this girl says is, hey. She just says, hey. Now, so at the time, it's just some random number. I'm like, like, who is this? It's an Android as well. It's a freaking Android, by the way. And I'm like, I don't know anyone who has an Android. Because, like, I don't know any of my friends that have an Android. I don't know any, like, there's only one person that I know that has an Android. And it's this girl. It's not the one that said hey to me, though. I'll get to that later. So, my friend is currently talking or dating, whatever, this other girl. And I'm like, who could this be? Is it someone that one of my friends is trying to set me up with or something? So, we start talking. I don't even know who this is for, like... So give me, like, a whole hour. I don't know who this is. So I'm talking to some random person for a whole hour. Texted me at about 12 p.m. And I didn't know who this was until... Let me look. Okay. I didn't know until an hour after we started talking. So I was just talking to this random person for a whole hour. And I was always skeptical of this. I was always skeptical of this person. I'm not going to show any pictures of them, and I'm not going to try leaking their name. It does get a little nasty, though. Not like... It just gets crazy. It doesn't get, like... It doesn't get, like, freaky or anything, but, like, it just gets a little toxic. I'll say that. So, she says she gets my number from a friend. And then I'm like... And then she's like, I can tell you later. So, she asks if I'm the right person. She said, yeah. I said, yeah. And then I'm like, if this is the right one, then can't you just tell me who you are? And then she's like, maybe we should start talking a little bit. So, this makes me very skeptical for two reasons. One, because I really don't know who this is, and I feel like, since my friends are actually very, very annoying, like, I have some very annoying friends that just like to piss me off and stuff like that. I thought this was just someone that my friend is trying to just find a way to annoy me or something. Because I'm like, why would a girl ever want me? Like, especially since I found out who it was, like an hour later, I'm like, no, there's no way, right? So, and then like I'm still trying to figure out who sent my number and who this is. So, there are two people who I feel like could have sent my number. One, my best friend, and two, not my best friend, but another person that I'm just friends with. We're not best friends, but yeah. So, I'm like, just tell me who you are, because she eventually says stuff like, she's asking like, are you single, are you, and stuff like that. So I'm over here waiting, like, come on, just tell me who you are. And then I try to ask how she got my number, and yes, she said from a friend. And then she's over here like, you don't even know who I am yet. So, yeah. Because I feel stupid in this moment. I feel so stupid, I literally say, do you even know me? And that just made me feel so stupid. You know why? Because of my friends. Now, I think my friends just want to like do annoying things, annoy me, and just mess with me, you know? So, I'm like, did any of my friends ask you about this? Like, did any of my friends give you my number? And then she's like, can't tell you that either. So, like, while I'm over here trying to figure out her name and who gave my number, I just keep, like, this conversation almost got nowhere because I didn't even know who this was. I didn't even know who it was. And that's... Hey. Now. And that's why I didn't... That's why we didn't even move, like, forward in this conversation. And then she's like, who are they? And I'm like, I don't think I can say. Because the reason why I say that is because I think my friends had something to do with this. Now, she's like, have you been doing okay? And then like, are you single? Because, look, I don't even know who this person is. She's asking me about, are you doing okay? She's asking, are you single? Like, I don't know who this was. So I tell her about, so I was like trying to get with this girl before her, like give it like 2 weeks before. And she's like, because I heard you were talking to some girl one time. And I legit didn't know this entire thing went around the entire school almost. And then she's like, you should at least stay in contact with her just in case. And that right there, all of this builds up. And then I'm like, I don't really though. Because I really only talk to her in the only class we have, and that's science. And I know my friends are going to see this. I know some of my friends are going to watch this. But I really just don't think... I really don't think... They're still not going to understand. Because they're that annoying. So... I typed like a whole paragraph. And then she's like, oh, I hope you're okay. And then I'm like... And also, I didn't even know this entire thing went around the whole school. So my idiotic self asked her, how did you know about this? And then she just hears from people talking in her classes. And then I'm like, do I have a class with you? And then she's like, can you please... Okay. Are we serious? No. Hold on. Technical difficulties real quick. Hold on. Alright. Got that solved. Okay. So... And then she's like, I don't want to give any hints. Maybe you get to know later. I'm like, is this all a joke? Like, this has got to be a joke, right? And we'll get back to this part later. Trust me. And then she's like, I do think you are kind of cute, though. I'm like, what? There's no way, right? And then I'm just over here. Just tell me who you are. No. Chill. Oh my god. Like, jeez. Alright. And then she's like, if you think I'm ugly, I want to keep texting you, so I'm not going to tell you now. So she's basic, and let me tell you, she's a baddie, okay? She's a baddie. And then she says, and then she actually tells me her name. I'm not going to say her name right now, because I don't want to leak anything. Alright. So, she tells me her name. I'm not going to get any further than that. And yeah. So now, after she tells me her name, I'm like, oh, this isn't who I thought who it was. And then she's like, I don't think I know who this person is. And I still think you're pretty cute, though, not gonna lie. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, you probably don't even know me. So, like, I'm over here, like, trying to hang on. Because my idiotic self didn't think of anything in this moment. I didn't think of anything in this moment. So she sends me a picture of herself, and then I'm like, oh. Because we've known each other for a very long time. So, like, I'd say, like, I've known her since 5th grade. I'm a freshman now. So I've known her for, like, 5 years, I think. 4 or 5 years. We were never really friends, though. Like, we talked every now and then in, like, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. But we never really were friends, though. And then she tells me her and her boyfriend recently broke up, which I did know about that because I'm actually friends with that person. I'm actually friends with them. So I'm like, and I'm like, wait, why is she on an Android? And then she's like, she broke her phone. So it's her backup phone. And then I ask her, does she have a Snap? She's like, that's on my other phone. And this makes me even more skeptical because I don't think she actually broke her phone. Now, yes, that's, like, stupid and all, but the reason why I don't think she did, I think she wanted to use a different... In that moment, I thought she wanted to use a different phone, mainly because it was more that she just didn't care and this was just all a joke. And then I ask, when is she getting her phone back? She says, literally the day after. And then, I'll get to that later, she doesn't get it back until Saturday. Until that until like a week later. So we'll come back to this because all of this adds up. And then I ask her, how did you know about me and that girl? And then I'm like, and then she's like, and then she says she heard people talking about it. And she's like if you want her, go for her. And then I'm like, hell no, she don't want me. Cause like she really doesn't want me. I'll be honest, she don't want me. And and then she's like, well, you got her eyes on her, so like, just go for her. But what I didn't know is she actually cheated on one of my other friends, so like that was a huge turnoff. I didn't want her again after that. So then this is the girl that I wanted before this girl that I was talking to. Because I never knew she cheated on my friend before. And then she's like, she sees me in the halls a lot, which is weird because I never did too. Some of the stuff didn't add up. And then out of nowhere, my friend just texts her. So I ask, what did he say? And then he actually showed me, and I'm like, and I didn't want him to do anything because he is known for ruining some of my relationships. Not really relationships, but he was the reason why I couldn't get with that girl that I wanted. So she asked me, she thinks I might be the wrong one, and then I sent a picture of myself, and then she's like, oh, I think this is the wrong one. But another thing. So she says, so my friend, another relationship he's trying to ruin, by the way, he tells her that I don't want her. And I'm not gonna lie, at that moment, I really didn't want to. She gets in trouble often. And she's freaky too. Like, I know she's freaky. And then we don't talk again for like the rest of the day. Until the next day, she texts me while we're at school, asking me if I'm at school today. And then she's like, because I want to see you. So some of the stuff didn't add up. If she said I was the wrong one, then why did she text me? So I'm like, this makes me really skeptical. I'm feeling like this has got to be a joke, right? And then she's like, because I want to see you. And then she said, we should try to meet up and talk in the halls. So she wants me to get out of class over here. She wants me to go over here and get out of class. And yeah. So I don't go out until like maybe like 20 minutes after we were talking. And she's like, it doesn't seem like you're trying. So my teacher wasn't letting me out. And like, I felt like she was just manipulating me. And then she just goes like, blah, 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 blah. We just keep yapping. And then my friends take my phone away and try to just text her for absolutely no reason. So she then asks for another picture of me. And I didn't send one because my friends took my phone and they were just photobombing everything. And then she says, ugly, yeah. And then maybe like 2 or 3 hours later, she said, OMG, sorry, I did not text that. I'm not going to show her name, but Here's what it looks like. Obviously, it might be mirrored, but like, it might be mirrored. It probably is, but I'm like, you didn't? And she's like, no, I'm sorry. Another thing that makes me skeptical, that this is just a joke to her. And then after school, she just texted me, like, being like, oh, we should have met up and stuff like that. And she says we should do it, like, in the middle of class when there's no people. And I'm like, let's just meet on the first floor. There's, like, and then both of us are like, let's meet on the first floor. There's, like, never people there. So, and then it's crazy. So, again, I don't know if it's mirrored, but she says, now we're obviously gonna hug, but like, what you think about a kiss? I'm like, so we've been talking for like 2 days and she's already thinking about that? I'm like, I feel like we should take it kind of slow, I'm not gonna lie. And she's rushing things, so like, this feels like a joke. And I'm like, I start thinking. I mean, I'm like, why not? Because I'm a clueless idiot. Just your average dude, just clueless, just, yeah, whatever. And then she's like, I'll see you. And she texts me at like 11 p.m. while I'm not on my phone and like, hey, are you awake? And I wasn't awake, so yeah. Then Tuesday, like, so something weird is like, she randomly hearted some of my messages. I don't know why, though. And then she's over here begging me to get out of class and all this dumb stuff. Telling my teacher, and then she's like, I just want to see you. And then she's like, I might as well find someone else. I'm like, and then I tell myself, I mean, this is probably just a joke, so why should I care? But the other side of myself says, whatever. Because I'm a clueless idiot. Just like I was the entire time we were talking. And then I screenshot the text of her saying, I think you're the wrong one. And then she says, I really thought about it, and I think you're still cute, and let's just, why not? And I said, why not try for real? And then I ask, are your friends with you? Because I don't want her friends to be involved. I never really wanted her friends to really know too much about that. And then she said her friend went back to class. And then she's over here just walking around the school aimlessly. First, she says, like, on the first floor. And then she says, like, the art hall, which is, like, on the other side of the school, by the way. And then I ask her, like, come down to the water fountain. And I'm like, and then she goes to, like, the water fountain near the bathrooms. And then she's like, sorry, I was at the one near the bathroom. Because I said meet at the water fountain near the science hall. And then she just went to the science one. That's another thing that kind of threw me off. I text her after school, but nothing that crazy happens. And then she's like, you ready to meet up? It's almost time, stuff like that. And then she's like, just be ready for that kiss. I'm like, and then she said, I was thinking we could do something else too. And I'm like, oh God. I already have a feeling on what it is. Because like I said, she's very freaky. Like, she's very freaky. I don't even think she has a V card. I'm going to be honest here. Obviously, she's not the only one, but, like, I don't think she has a V card. And then she's like, And then I'm like, if it's what I'm thinking of, I said, we should take it slow. Because we were talking for, like I said, 3 days. And then she's like, I mean, yeah, I can just do whatever for a little. And I'm like, I don't know. And then she's like, a little wouldn't hurt. And then she's also like, you should give me that Duke anesthetic. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, no. Because I'm thinking, no, I can't do this. I'm telling myself I can't do this because she's not the one for me. But since I'm a clueless idiot, I'm like, whatever, just do it. And then she's like, and then she asks her teacher, she's like, she didn't let me out. Another thing that caught me off guard. And then just planning another meetup. It's really just like this for the next day or two. But after this. So, she tells me something feels off. And I'm like, what? And she says, I do. And she says she doesn't think it's right. She says we don't know each other, which that is true. We barely know each other. She said she didn't really have feelings, which makes me feel weird because all of this added up. But this wasn't the end, though. Let me tell you that. She said she didn't have feelings. So all this time, my clueless, idiotic self scrolls up all of our texts. And I look at one certain text. And it was, yeah, you're the wrong one, not gonna lie. Which I showed her before. And then she said, and then I showed I thought about it. And I think you're really cute still. So I'm like, And I'm like, she said she didn't really have feelings. So I'm like, then why did you want me? And then she said, I guess it was just a phase. I'm like, and I'm trying to hold on because my idiotic, clueless self still wanted her after all of this stuff. Doing all the freaky stuff, which I'm not into. Not coming to class and like all of this stuff that caught me off guard, I did not think about. So I'm over here telling her. So, if it's not like mirrored or anything, this is what it said. I'm not trying to leak anything, but I'm basically saying where my feelings were for her were real. And I'm like, and I ask her, how did her and her boyfriend before, how did they start knowing each other? Did they know each other before they started dating? So, we stopped talking, and then, like, randomly in the night, she says, so, like, right with that, she said, I found someone else, not gonna lie. And then, like, randomly in the middle, like, maybe, like, around 7 p.m., at a soccer game, refereeing, at a soccer, football game, whatever, refereeing it, and then, like, after I'm done, she says, I was thinking about it, and I feel bad for what I did. I'm like, why? She said, and I said, and she says she found someone else, and then she said she was low-key lying. I'm like, really? Really? I'm like, and then she says she's sorry. And I didn't think about this. After I thought about it, like maybe a couple days after, I'm like, I don't know why I kept it going. And I said, whatever, it is what it is. Because my idiotic self didn't care. I didn't care. And then she said, meeting up tomorrow? You want to know what happened? We didn't. Because it's the same thing every day, it felt like. Then I told her, had a sub. I was out of class for like a good 10-15 minutes looking for her around the whole school. Nowhere to be found. She said, went to the gym, went to the cafeteria, went to art classrooms, went to all around the school pretty much. So I then just give up. I go back to class. But before she said that, she says like, I'm really nervous, baby. I'm like, she actually just say that to me? Because I didn't see her one time. I didn't see her once. Because I knew she was lying. I knew she was lying. I knew she was lying. But obviously, I didn't think about it. So I just go ahead and don't care. And then she's like, she's on her whatever, and she's just doing dumb things. I'm like, still doesn't make sense. So then I asked. So then I tell her, it seemed like she never wanted me in the first place. And I really didn't. And she really didn't. And I just knew she didn't want me. But all those times, I was just an idiot. And then she says, how? She started talking to me first. So I'm like, this doesn't make sense. She's over here, it feels like she's playing with my brain at this point. Because I'm like, because what I'm saying, I feel like it doesn't make sense. That's how toxic it was. Then she's saying I'm spreading rumors. When I didn't see her once. Once. When I was walking around the entire school, I didn't see her once. I said, you probably weren't even in class. And then she's over here saying, I said, you were probably in class. And then she said, why'd you think that? And I told her, I walked around the whole school and didn't see you once. She's then over here saying, okay, well, I didn't see you, so you must be the one lying, right? That's wrong, because I walked around the entire school for 10 to 15 minutes looking for her. And then, you wanna know what she does later? If you take a quick guess, you're probably right. She says, I'm sorry, what I did earlier. I'm like, this again? And my idiotic self, again, strikes again, thinks nothing about what happened. You know, I had many opportunities to just be done with all of this, but I kept this going, and it just kept getting worse. So, it's now Thursday, and I'm like, is there any other times you can meet up? Because I'm like, we need to see each other more often. And then she's like, yeah, but, and then we both find out that we don't have any classes near each other. And then I'm like, I guess we'll just do first period then. And then she's like, okay, well, you better kiss me good then. So I'm like, is this real or is it not? I've been skeptical this entire time, this whole week. So it's now Friday. And she's like, should we try at 8:45? And I'm like, because we have an assembly. And I'm like, it depends on when the assembly begins. It was like a boys only assembly as well. And we couldn't use the bathroom either, so there's no getting out of it. So then I'm like, maybe, depending on when it starts. And then she's like, and then I ask her, will you actually stay there? Because my idiotic self strikes again, thinking she's actually out and just wandering the halls. And put the puzzle pieces together, and then you'll eventually find out what happens in the end, before I even tell you. So she says she's right there now. And then I'm like, because someone's currently in the bathroom, and she's like, blah, 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 we're yapping. And then she's like, sorry. And then I said, why? And then she said, I never texted you. And then, so I asked her if she got her regular phone back, and then she said she's getting it right now. Then on like Saturday, she says, and then I asked, can I get her number on that phone? And then she says, maybe after we know each other for a little bit. That right there is where I'm like, yep, this ain't real. This ain't real. But my idiotic self strikes again and just continues. He just continues. This thing right here just continues. It just continues to talk, text, just not giving up. Doesn't get out of it. I was telling myself I should get out of it, but that idiotic self part of me said no, because that part of me controlled all of my body during that entire week. And she says, I only have friends on there that she actually talks to. And I ask her, did she even use this phone? And she says, not really. And then I ask her, and then I say, and then I put the puzzle pieces together. For once, I actually use my brain. For once, I actually use my brain in this entire week. And then I say, what I'm gathering is you barely even want to talk to me. And little did I know before, I was correct. But we'll get to this later. So she's like, who said we were barely going to talk? And then I'm like, if you barely use that phone, how are we going to talk? And then I say, the only way we could keep this going is if we actually talked in school. And she's like, yeah, we can try that. And I'm like, not at 9 o'clock every day like you want to, which we never did. And I'm like, and then she's like, why not at 9? And then she just didn't understand a single word I was saying. It was like I was speaking another language, it felt like. And I'm like, it's hard to because our classes are on the other side of the school. But I do ask, does she bring that phone to school at least? And then she does say yes, though, which gives me hope because my idiotic self didn't think anything of all the bad things she's done, because all of the good things took over. So she hearts my okay good message, and then she says 9 o'clock, and then I'm actually gonna see you this time, because this goes to today. All of this ended today. I made this today because it all ended today. And she's like, I'm actually gonna see you this time. And then I'm like, where are you? In the cafeteria area. So I say, I'm gonna go to the first floor bathroom. You go there. And then she says she's there. She's there, but I don't see her. And I'm actually down there. So then she's like, it seems like you're trying to avoid me. And then I text her. So I'm in the bathroom for a good 5 minutes. She didn't give me a single text. Then, how ironic that she texts me the second I get back to class. The second I get back to class. And then I say, I never saw you on the first floor bathroom. And then she said she was down there and I never saw you, which for a fact, I'm just thinking, there's gotta be rage bait at this point, right? It's just rage bait. So she tries to make me think I'm an idiot, and then she said, how'd you go to class if you were on the first floor 4 minutes ago? So I gave that first text. So I gave her that first text at 9:18, and I left at around like 9:22. So I was in the bathroom for like 4 or 5 minutes. And then she says, look at 9:24. I told her I got back to class at like 9:23. And I never saw her or heard her. Then she's over here saying I'm lying. Because, again, my idiotic self doesn't believe anything that I say. I believed more of what she said than what I said. It felt like she was actually in my mind. Then she's like, STFU, she was waiting outside, which she wasn't. So, like, I'm like, this ain't real. She's like, can you be honest for once? And then I'm like, I am being honest because I am actually being honest. And then, so then I actually expressed my feelings to her for once. And they weren't even good ones. I didn't really express my feelings, but I told her what I really thought about her. I said, I'm starting to think you're in class the entire time and you're just trying to get me in trouble, and this is all a joke. Because my idiotic self wasn't controlling me for once. I'm like, it's a oh God, I almost slipped an F-bomb. I'm like, oh, it's a damn miracle. It's a miracle out here. And then she's like, ugly piece of, liar. And then I just take it. And then she said she was there. I said, is this the truth? So she's like, stop lying in all caps, and then she's like, you're actually weird. And then she says, shut your rat, ugly looking, up. And I'm like, is she wrong? No, because she's not. And then she's like, Stop texting me because you're weird. Considering she was the one that texted me first, because my idiotic self wasn't controlling me for once. And then she's like, this is so funny. Like, you really thought I wanted you? And then I tell her what I thought myself. I said, I knew you didn't. Because I know she didn't. Like, I know she didn't. I have known that for a long time now. I've been onto her for a long time. That's exactly what I say. I ask her, who gave you my number? Never said that. You know why? Because she probably knows that I would... She knows that I would find out regardless. I would find out. It feels like a whole murder mystery at this point. She even talked to the girl that I wanted. Before. She even said that. Like, there is a chance that she sees this. There is a very decent chance. But what I'm going to say is, I don't care. Oh, no. I don't care. If she's watching this, I don't care. You know why? No. Do not step. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Are you done? Okay. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie, she probably isn't gonna watch this. Because why would you want to watch a 50-minute video of just me yapping? Why? All I'm gonna say is, there is a very small chance that she watches this video. But for that small chance, if she does, I don't want any of her... Okay. I know my friends are going to watch this. I know they will. Like, it's inevitable. I know they will. But I don't want this going around the whole school. Because if they know the real side, they'd probably go a little too far. Hold on. Alright, where was I? Okay. So, if my friends ever see this, I don't want them to just tell her. I don't want anyone to tell her. I don't want anything like that. I don't want this to go around the whole school. This is really just... like... there's this thing called karma. And I'm just waiting for that. Because not only was I on to her, but I let it happen. I let it happen. I let this happen. I might be laughing, but deep down inside it actually just hurts. Just hurts. Because I let it happen. I let it happen. Like, I can't believe I let it happen. Like, the thing is, I didn't just let it happen. I let her take over. I let her take advantage of me. And that is what makes me mad. I wasn't just betrayed. Now, yes, I was on to her. That doesn't really make it betrayal. I wasn't just betrayed. She probably told all of her friends too, yeah. Which, don't worry, who knows? It may turn into a whole whole war around the school. Oh, look. Well, here's one of the people that I think has something to do with this. Just snapped me. I mean, I'm not surprised. So yeah. And if she wants me back by a very small possibility, if she just wants to try to keep messing with me, I'm telling myself no. Doesn't matter how she makes you feel. Doesn't matter if she says sorry or not. I'm going to say no. I'm going to make this promise. Now, if I break this promise, I'm gonna be mad at myself. It's gonna be my idiotic self striking again. I'm not letting that take over though. I think this guy right here, one of my friends, had a very big role in this. Two of my friends having a very big role in this. Because, so today, he's over here laughing. Just laughing the second I get into class. And I'm like, what's so funny? Because the second he gets into class, he just starts laughing. And I ask, just tell me. Because I start getting mad. Because I know people know about this happening. I know it's probably gone around it's probably gone around like half the school already, because she's that popular. I mean, I would say, yeah, I let my feelings, I let my idiotic self take over. That's really it for the story, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for watching this long one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to my post notifications to get notified when I upload a brand new video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.